I was just
Thank you.
observing that your company's performance is really an outlier given the challenges that we're seeing in corporate Nigeria with the slow recovery. But then you are reporting a jump in profits of well over 80%. Talk us through, especially the fourth quarter, the key elements that drove your results.
Well, thank you very much. Well, yeah, I'm glad you say we're an outlier. I hope that we'll remain an outlier. Yeah, the profits this past year were very, very good, I must admit. But it must be seen in the light of the fact that we had a major devaluation in the middle of 2016, and the resulting exchange rate differentials were partly to I don't want to say blame, but it was partly the result of that. You will see also that as we come through early in 2017, that was carried forward. And then thereafter, the foreign exchange became a little bit more stable, and prices did drop. But that was just based on Forex if you compare it with the dollar price. In real terms, if you look at the dollar price of our product, it hasn't changed over many years. It still remains pretty similar.
Right.
What happened in the fourth quarter is basically there was just basically write-backs for provisions that we put in. So it looks better than what is in the fourth quarter, but effectively it was just some write-back that we did. But in general, yes, we had a very, very good year, and we're really pleased to have presented this to our shareholders.
Right. Right. I just want to get to the point around the impact of devaluation and what that means for your strategy going forward. Obviously, you are supplying the local market, but you're also looking at the export markets as well. Can you give us a sense of your strategy in terms of how the extent to which the export markets would dominate your earnings going forward?
Well, I mean, if you look at the Forex, if it remains stable, it will certainly help us in being able to determine what our costs will be. That's one of the other factors that came through. You'll see that notwithstanding the good result, our expenses were pretty high. And that's just based on an inflation rate that was at that time coming in at around 17% and imported inflation around 20%. So we were battling with that. And what happened, I think, is that a lot of the stock that we were using from our customers and suppliers ran out, and we had to pick up the new prices. In going forward, I think if we look at the oil palm per se, I'm hoping that the prices remain where they are currently. We do see that going forward that there will be a little bit more pressure from disposable income from the general populace because, as you mentioned earlier, there's a lot of problems within the economy at the moment. Having said that, we seem to be holding ourselves pretty well in the market at the moment. In terms of our rubber, that's obviously purely for export, and that also assists us in our foreign exchange earnings, which assists us where we need it. So we certainly are looking at keeping that going as well because it does assist us going forward with all our purchasing.
Right. And, of course, you are investing in an oil mill. Can you just bring us up to speed on where you are with that project and what's the likely impact on your revenues and profits going forward?
Yeah, what we have started, we've actually broken ground in our Extension 2, which is our latest acquisition, which we acquired in 2014. By the end of this year, we should have planted around 9,000 hectares of palm, and we've, in anticipation of that, have started to build an oil mill, which should be coming online in around 2020, in line with the harvest starting to mature. We will be building 2 30-ton-an-hour mills on that plantation. The first one, as I mentioned, now 2020, and the other one around 2022. So that we can make sure that we can do all the harvesting there. In terms of revenue streams, that's certainly going to impact, I hope, positively on the company because within the next 5 to 7 years, we hope that we will virtually double our CPO production from the current 40,000 tons per annum to around 80,000, which I think we'll see revenue streams hopefully do the same. And we hope that in the near future we will start to see those benefits coming through to the shareholders.
All right. I just have to ask this question. In the agriculture space in Nigeria, one common challenge for most players is the cattle herders and the disruption that we're seeing to production there. I don't imagine that cattle are big consumers of oil palm. So give me a sense of to what extent the cattle herders issue impacts your business.
Well, unfortunately, it does have an impact, if not directly, indirectly, because, notwithstanding the fact that we don't have cattle tending to come onto the property, mainly because we don't keep grass under the palms, we actually have a legume which can seriously cause them to bloat, which they don't like to have. It has affected us indirectly in that it has caused disturbances, unfortunately, in and amongst communities. We recently had one near our extension 2 where there was a fracas, and unfortunately there was a death. And this has caused a major issue. I do know that the governor was out there in the past weekend looking at it, and I believe that he has banned grazing of cattle for the time being until they can sort the issue out. But it does have an impact, and it is negative, even though it might not be directly a problem for us. Indirectly, it does cause issues for us and our communities.
All right, Graham, let's leave it there. Thanks so much for the insight, Graham.